Yeah.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to another video with Rona 47R as I jump on a bike. Appreciate you checking on me to make sure I'm still alive because, honestly, just as I'm an average player, man, I'm just an average bike rider here, and my biggest concern is to, yes, have fun, but I kind of don't want to break anything. I'm allergic to falling down, but anyway, so here we are. This is San Diego, California. This is Rancho Bernardo. This specifically is a trail called Black Widow, and you access this by riding up all the way to the top of Iron Mountain. You can look it up on a map to kind of figure out where it is, but that's some good points to kind of get you to where we're going here on the map.
Good morning.
But on the upper right, you can see some radio towers and that sort of thing. Gives you some context as to where we came down from. But here we are, cruising down this thing, snaking back and forth. I'm chasing one of my, well, chasing is a little, that's a little too nice of a word. I am crawling after my eldest son, who, mountain bikes, and his friends. And of course, they just, whiz on down and have no fear, and good for them. But I'm just cruising along, enjoying the ride. I kind of approach mountain biking like I do four-wheel driving, right? I'm not in a race. You carefully choose your spots and you cruise through the terrain. But my biggest concern is not dying and not falling into cactus and that sort of thing. But I admit it is a really fun thing to do. I love riding. I don't care, on the road or on the trail.
Maybe it's too much.
I do enjoy riding the old bike. So we're cruising along. And something I would just point out is that this is on the west side of Iron Mountain. Taking a quick pause here just to kind of look up there. You can see already how far we've come down the descent. Anyway, back on the trail. So let's get it going. Yeah, and the other thing too is some of these guys have e-bikes, and that's cool. Good for you. But man, you have to pedal all the way up to just begin the downhill. Sounds kind of obvious to me now saying it, but so you use all this energy to ride up there, catch your breath, and then focus on, the stability and the technique to go downhill. Because you'd think just riding downhill is easy, but it's kind of harder than riding uphill, because uphill is just effort. Downhill is like Uber choices and line picking. And if you go too fast, even going slow, at least for me, I make mistakes. And sometimes I have to get off the bike, or all of a sudden a surprise little almost crash, or sometimes I do crash. But, yeah. So heading down to the west as it snakes back and forth, and you can really see a nice kind of view off in the distance. That's, it's kind of like a Del Sur. If you keep going off into the far distance, he eventually gets into Del Mar, and of course way off in the distance that's the old ocean there.
Woo.
Kind of gives you an idea.
Probably clipless, I would hurt myself.
But it's really not that long. Well, for me, I guess it's longer, but for regular riders it's pretty quick. For me, I think it's maybe 6-7 minutes or something to kind of cruise down. You do have some hikers.
Good morning, guys.
I'm a big fan of good sportsmanship, good manners.
They went right or left?
I've only been on this trail. I should have said that in the very beginning. I think in my life I've been on this trail maybe 3 times over the years. And it always changes, not the big paths, but, where ruts show up and that sort of thing. Boulders, whatever. Through erosion and just people in general, it kind of changes. But again, I'm not very familiar with this thing. I don't ride this stuff all the time.
Like this.
So anyway, there it is though. Also pulling aside, if you have riders that you hear are coming down, it's kind of like, slow traffic, pull to the right kind of mentality. So when that, anytime I hear something like that happening, then I just get the hell out of the way.
Oh my God.
One of the things I'm a big proponent on, it drives my son nuts, but again, it's all about having kind of respect for each other. Big fan of having a bike bell. As you're riding, it kind of jingles. You don't have to activate it manually or anything. And what that does is it allows people who are up ahead of you regardless if they're riding, if they're hiking, whatever.
Oh, shit.
It lets them know that you're coming, and it's very courteous because people are in a conversation. God forbid they're don't get me started. They're using sensory deprivation devices, aka headphones or something like that, which time and place. But you're on a trail with traffic. Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good idea to have. But anyway, letting people know that you're coming, because nothing's worse than being surprised or you surprising someone that you're hauling butt down a trail. Now, why people are hiking on a known bike trail, I don't know, but that's another discussion for another time. But if they're being situationally aware and they can get out of the way, that's cool. Have no problem sharing. But yeah, have that bell. Absolutely. Now, cruising along here, I'm almost to the bottom. I'm sure these guys have already made it to the bottom, set up camp, and are probably roasting marshmallows while I'm like 2/3 of the way down, but they haul butt. If memory serves too, I think there's going to be a guy who, it was pretty impressive, although it's not hard to be impressive riding compared to me, but some dude comes by. I think this is it. Let me see. Yeah. So that guy's on a cross-country bike. And of course, the more skill you have, the less reliance on equipment. The better the equipment, a little easier your life is. It doesn't make up for the rider, but it does make things easier, right? You don't take a sports car on a four-wheel drive course, duh. Kind of same thing. So this guy here is a cross-country guy, and he is just hauling butt, just killing it. So all of those little drops and stuff that you've seen prior or previous in this video, that's like nothing to this guy apparently, because he's just cruising on down fast. But good for you, buddy. I just want to come home in one piece. So this is really the home stretch right here. The biggest thing to worry about coming down this one spot here was the ruts that can jump out at you. But on that, it's pretty chill, and it's just jiggly. All those ruts that I had to take the grass route. And then here we go. Here's the dudes waiting for me, and there it is. All right, cool. Well, thanks for riding along with me, guys. See you in the next one.
I was happy.
Okay, girls, tell them who they are if they're receiving this transmission.
You are one of the 47 Ronin. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.